Hey everyone, Chaplain Stephen Longclow, United States Coast Guard Base, Elizabeth City. I've been reflecting on the current issues in our country: racism, the death of George Floyd, the violent riots, the peaceful protest. We are living in a time with a lot of civil unrest, and it's been uncertain. We live in uncertain times. It's been frustrating to see what's happening to our country. My soul is heavy right now. The day after the first violent riot erupted, I saw a couple of videos, and it just hurt my soul. I couldn't help but think of that wonderful line in The Two Towers from Lord of the Rings, at the Battle of Helm's Deep, where Theoden turns to Aragorn and he says, "So much death, what can men do against such reckless hate?" I've been thinking about that line. What can I do in the midst of the hate of racism? What can I do when I see what appears to be police brutality? What can I do when I see violence erupting across our country? Is there anything I can do? When I was reflecting on this question the day after the first violent riot broke out, I didn't know what to do. And so, as I've said before, when you don't know what to do what you know. Because I didn't know what to do, I started doing what I had to do that day, which was go to work, do my chores, and water my plants. I have a garden that I've just planted during quarantine, and I had to go water my plants. Watering my plants became for me a worshipful and spiritual experience. I was not contributing to death and violence in that moment. Instead, I was contributing to growth and life. I was working with God to bring life to my plants. It became a moment of worship for me. I think about that, that humans, people, are called to be people of life, to bring life. And I reflect on that with the golden rule. The golden rule that treat others the way you want to be treated. Or as Jesus says it in the Gospels, love the Lord your God with your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbors as yourself. Love your neighbors as yourself. That means bring life, right? Bring life to your neighbors. Contribute to their good. What does love look like? I have been guilty of this in the past, that thinking that love can be passive. So long as I'm not hating my neighbors or committing violence against my neighbors, I'm showing them love, right? So long as I'm not a racist, then I'm okay. It's those people who have the problem. Those people need to change their hearts, And of course, there's all kinds of problems with that. I think we all need to examine our own hearts and ask the Lord to search the deep, dark crevices of our hearts and reveal any hatred that may be lurking there. Reveal any racism to us that may be lurking there, so that we can repent of it. But love is not this passive thing. Love must be active. Love must be not only not wanting something negative to happen to my neighbors, but love must be seeking the good for my neighbors. It's active. It's working towards something. So what does love then look like right now in the world? What can I do? As I remember that quote from Theoden, so much death, what can men do against such reckless hate? Well, for me, and I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section. I'd love to hear how you can come together with your community and show love. For me, I'm going to, in a couple weeks, I'm going to have a barbecue. I'm going to pull out my grill in my front yard. I'm going to buy a whole bunch of meat, and I'm going to invite all of my neighbors over to my house so that I can know them, so that I can know about them, so I can learn their names, learn their kids' names. And so I can open up that door to begin loving my neighbors. I can't love my neighbors unless I know my neighbors, and this will be the means to get to know my neighbors. You know, it's embarrassing to say that I, of course, wave to my neighbors when I get home, you know, waving across the street. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing good. You know, the thing that we always do, the little kindness and courtesies, but that's not really loving my neighbors. I look forward to learning my neighbors' names. I look forward to knowing my kids' names, finding out where they work, finding out what their struggles are. And I'm excited to say I live in a neighborhood that is fortunate to be interracial. We have whites who live in my neighborhood. We have blacks who live in my neighborhood. We have some Hispanics who live in my neighborhood. This is going to be a wonderful time for all of us to come together, show love to each other over a meal. Love the Lord your God with your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Friends, loving our neighbors as ourselves, I believe, is one of the first steps toward ending the hate in America, toward stopping the violence and eradicating racism. I encourage you to go out and love your neighbors as yourself. This is Chaplain Stephen Lonklow, signing out.